Hello everybody, and welcome to the Pit and Paddock Race Show for the last week of September, and it's still hot, but I don't know, it's supposed to be cooling down now.
It's even hotter than it was somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like hotter than July for some reason.
Well, for the second year in a row, Ross Chastain gets a huge playoff victory after not actually making it into the playoffs. And then he shows his disdain for ground-based fruits. I don't know why he hates watermelon so much.
What was up with the watermelon?
His family owns watermelon farms, so he's
smashed the
watermelon.
What does that say?
I don't know. Maybe he likes Gallagher also.
Oh
yeah. Rounding out the podium were William Byron and Martin Truex. Truex finished third after botching that final restart and giving up a win.
Good job. He restarts like Lando Norris.
Yeah, pretty much the Lando Norris restart. Jimmy Johnson returned to NASCAR competition to once again immediately crash.
He must have gotten advice from Ed Carpenter.
Actually, I had no idea he was in this race until I checked the finishing order.
Kind of like Montoya in the last 2 races ago. I didn't even know Montoya was there.
At least Montoya got to the end. Well, Johnson re-entered, but I didn't see him on television once.
He didn't really matter.
That's disappointing. He was a great driver. Kyle Larson had a bit of a rough outing, getting into the wall again at lap 19.
See, he wasn't careful, and he cut a tire.
Oh, those...
Who was that? It
was like NASCAR 1999 flashbacks of anytime you get near anything or a wall, if he's not careful, he's going to cut a tire.
Who was that?
I think that was Benny Parsons who did.
Benny Parsons.
Just anytime you got near anything, the same line. I think you hear it 600 times a race.
Well, Larson wasn't careful.
The weekly LaJoy caution, which is now known as the weekly number 7 car caution, happened this time on lap 150.
You know what? I noticed that Jones in the 43 just crashed by himself. He probably figured somebody's going to crash me anyway, so I'll just do it.
Might as well do it yourself.
Yeah. Hey, what was wrong with Bell? Anyway, he was doing really good, and then twice he tried to get a happy ending out of the wall.
I don't know. It looks like he just overdrove the car because he was coming on there on the end of the race, and he got into the wall and lost a few spots.
Yeah. I thought he was going to have a shot for a while.
Playoff contender Austin Cindric lasted to lap 157 before he spun out.
You see the picture of him? He looks like he could help me with all my accounting needs.
I did learn that he played the tuba in high school, if that helps at all.
How do you get from band geek to NASCAR Cup driver?
Your father's Tim Cindric?
Oh, yeah, I guess that helps.
Well, towards the end of the race, Kyle Busch looked to finally be close to another win, taking the lead on lap 206. But with 32 to go, Chase Briscoe, a lap down, slid up, sort of, to block Busch to stay on the lead lap. And then Kyle Busch spun out. So...
whose fault was that?
I don't know. Chase Briscoe really didn't help him out at all, but, he's in the playoffs trying to stay on the lead lap.
But still, if you're a lap down car or close to it, you're not supposed to get in the way of the lead car or the lead cars.
No, not enough to wreck them.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Not a fan of that move.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's Briscoe's fault.
I think he should have been a little more room left there.
Or Trump's fault. It was probably Trump's fault somehow.
Yeah, probably. After the race, when asked for comment, Chase Briscoe said, "I grew up in a middle-class family."
That's the answer to every hard question.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, poor Kurt Busch. He's got the luck of the Irish.
Like Notre Dame?
Yeah, because, nothing ever really works out for the Irish. Conquered by the Brits, potato famine, the Great, what do they call it? The Great Trouble or something. Still with the British or the English. Yeah. They finally got smart and has created the lowest tax structure in Europe. And
I'm sure they'll get rid of that.
yeah, it's working for them right now.
Well, the football team always is overrated. It ends up being a massive disappointment anyway. So
Well, the East Coast sports writers love Notre Dame and Michigan. They always get ranked about 5 points higher than they deserve.
Truex finally had a shot at his first and probably last win of the year. He took the lead after pit stops from the Busch-Briscoe caution flag, but then he botched the final restart, and Chastain got the win handed to him.
You know, Truex sounds like a cleaning product, or maybe an app that translates what politicians say.
So it just states the opposite of what the politician said?
Yeah, pretty much.
That makes sense.
Hey, what happened to my man Gilligan? He just seemed like he was in his usual mid-pack location.
Now that the playoffs have started, they don't show anybody else in the race, so I don't ever get to see, unless you're scanning the sidebar the entire race. I don't know. I did see that the only time I did see him on camera was like 25 to go. He decided Carson Hocevar wasn't going fast enough, so he tried to help him. But he ended up spinning.
He's a helpful guy like that.
I see you're not on the gas. Let me help you here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Kansas was a pretty good race, and it was nice to see a good, solid race after the Bristol snooze fest, I guess.
So Kansas, were they calling it a super speedway? I mean, it's only a mile and a half, but
Just a speedway.
Just because of the progressive banking, right?
Yeah,
that kind of gives it a better.
Made for a lot of grooves and passing. Good track. It works well with these cars where short tracks really don't.
Yeah, it did seem like there was 3 lanes that were working for everybody, so made for a good race. I do want to appeal to NASCAR or Fox. Was it Fox this time?
NBC.
NBC.
Please
stop the spotter cam. That's just annoying. I don't want to hear the guy ramble on like he's trying to auction off something.
You don't need it. I like that they, let's try a couple of new shots here, but it's like, no, not that one maybe. Hopefully that's gone next year.
They still need to do the worst dressed NASCAR fan cam. Just random people in the crowd that are dressed awfully or behaving interestingly.
Too easy, I think.
There is some breaking news for next week. NASCAR is making changes to the body of the car to limit the cars going airborne at Talladega. There were several suggestions on how to do it. However, officials rejected a suggestion to stop the car from flying by letting Boeing design it.
That'll do it. You don't want it to fly, Boeing will take over.
Yeah. I'm sure they can create a car that will never fly.
Moving on to paint schemes, did you see anything interesting or good?
Now, I had to go to the Busch series to find a car because the Cup cars were so awful, and still couldn't find a cool paint scheme. I ended up going with Vargas in the number 42 Snapchat car because it looked so ridiculous. Like, nothing says stock car racing like rainbows, hearts, and butterflies.
Man, that car was bright. It does stand out.
Oh, it was like all the Care Bears in one.
I tend to agree with you about the boring Cup cars. They're all nothing new or interesting. But what's not boring was Cole Custer's 00 NXT on the CW car. Nothing's better than stock car racing and fake wrestling.
That's like combining chicken fried steak and gravy.
Yeah.
It's just good. How about not good?
Not good. This in the Busch series, Joey Gase, I think he's 35, had a Branson.com car. It's like I'm not sure how much longer the Branson, Missouri demographic is going to be around. So
yeah, I wasn't really sure what that was. I had to Google it. I was thinking it was Richard Branson, the Virgin Airlines and records.
Is he trying to get people to an island?
Yeah. Apparently that wasn't it. For not good paint schemes, I went with the entire Cup field. They were all uglier than a nude beach at the assisted living facility.
Uglier than a bathroom after a hot dog eating contest.
Uglier than the 2019 Kamala Harris platform.
Uglier than the 2024 Kamala Harris platform?
Uglier than Trump's new haircut.
It's rough. Uglier than that dude in the women's bathroom?
No. There's nothing uglier than that.
Oh, man.
Don't go to what was it? Olympic Fitness? No. What was the fitness club that had the dude in there just shaving his legs in the girls' bathroom with no clothes on? I forget which one it was. Lifetime Fitness.
Pass.
One of them. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to throw on a dishonorable mention for number 16, Dylan, because you should never put the words fitness and Walmart on the same car.
That's very true.
So how's the playoff picture look after the Kansas race?
Well, after, what is this? The first race in this round, we've got in not great position, Austin Cindric, 29 points back, and Chase Briscoe, 25 points back.
I think I have Briscoe for mine not to make it into the next round.
I think I picked both of them.
You
so far, Cindric and Briscoe. Less than optimal. Daniel Suarez is 14 points back, and Tyler Reddick is 4 points back. Reddick is a little disappointing.
See, I had both those. I had Briscoe, Suarez, Reddick, and Hamlin.
Reddick won at Kansas last year, so I expected a little better showing out of him. Uncomfortable are Joey Logano and Chase Elliott, 4 points over the cutoff. Alex Bowman, 8 points over, and Hamlin, 11 points over. So they, not bad position, but could be better.
Where did Logano get the hair transplant at? Was it like in the back or
front?
In the front? They like filled in the front for him? Oh.
I remember that a couple years ago. He was talking about it.
Good job, whatever sponsor that was.
The hair club? I don't know.
The hair club.
And the drivers that are okay if they manage to avoid the big one at Talladega, Larson plus 18, Chris Bell at plus 28, Blaney at plus 28, and Byron at plus 34. Actually, Byron could probably be in the big one and still manage to move on.
Larson was first last week, wasn't he?
And yeah.
And so he dropped to fourth.
He did. He keeps using up his bonus points by crashing in the first race of the round.
How many lives do you get in NASCAR? Like a cat, you can crash so many times?
I think so.
Yeah, Larson.
Either crash or win, it seems like, for Larson.
I honestly can't even remember where Larson finished. After he cut the tire, I'm like, oh, well, he's not coming back.
I have to go look at it up again.
I should have known better. It's NASCAR. You can always come back.
They do give you a lot of laps to catch back up.
Yeah.
Coming up next week for NASCAR is Talladega.
Yeah, is that a drafting race?
It's a big 2.5-mile superspeedway drafting track.
Why don't they call it a slipstreaming race?
Oh, they're not gay.
Is it gay or is it just European?
They're the same thing.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Oh, there goes our English demographic.
Oh,
now.
come on. We're just having some fun.
Yeah, we're not making that much fun of you European guys.
We make fun of the South, too.
Yeah, we make fun of everybody. Look, we had a Trump and a Harris joke right there together. In Formula One, there was still no actual racing, but the top story is Daniel Ricciardo, who was officially replaced by Liam Lawson at Red RB / just call it Toro Rosso. Come on.
Yeah,
It's just confusing.
Two same names for the teams. Christian Horner cited a lack of consistency as the main reason for the replacement, saying, "I expected our drivers on the track to be as consistent as I am with sexual harassment." That's a direct quote, I believe.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard Horner's sexual harassment is actually Ginger Spice getting his phone at night when he's asleep. Texting stuff to the girls. In F1 legal news, the Haas lawsuit against former principal Gunther Steiner was thrown out by the judge that, I don't know, whatever judge was assigned to him. The judge later explained that no one could understand what the F Steiner was saying anyway, and added he's a effing German who thinks he's an effing Italian. That was...
Sounds like he spent a long time with Gunther there.
Yeah. After listening to, too many Gunther deposition.
Sir, please stop swearing in the court. fuck, smashed the door.
Yeah.
Ferrari is reportedly bringing their last upgrade to Austin. I'm told they've stolen the spare McLaren and painted it red.
That might actually work for them.
Heck of an upgrade.
Yep. How did McLaren? That's going to be like one of the biggest miracle things, because they were last year at the beginning. They were like dead last. They were slower than Alpine.
Yeah.
And then they come with this upgrade, and then suddenly they're on the podium, like midway through the season last year.
Heck of a turnaround.
Yeah. I don't know how, unless they did like Tracing Point and just copied everything that Red Bull did.
Tracing Point.
That
was a good nickname.
That was a good nickname for they're Aston Martin now, right?
Yeah.
Because they copied the Mercedes,
yeah.
And then it really worked for them. They like moved way up. They were called Racing Point back then, and I think it was Will Buxom I heard call them Tracing Point.
Yeah.
In other news, Alpine Renault will end their engine manufacturing after 2025, choosing instead to buy Mercedes engines for next year. They also plan to change the team name to the Vichy Renault F1 team.
I shouldn't be surprised they surrendered to the German manufacturer.
There goes our French demographic. Don't be insulted, French people. Next up for Formula One is more time off for the Euros, and then eventually the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin, Texas.
It's about time.
I know.
I think that's my favorite U.S. race.
It's far better than Miami and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Miami because, I don't know, I just don't want to go to Miami.
It looks so hot there all the time when they're...
Yeah, and what, the painted marina just, I don't know, just rubs me the wrong way.
And it's like 90% of it is all like suites and corporate, same like as in Vegas. At least Austin has a bunch of grandstands with actual people in it. They can't afford to go to other races.
Oh yeah, you can't. I think you can still get tickets to Austin, but you're not getting tickets to Miami or Vegas unless you want to pay $5,000 for the weekend.
Too much.
Plus, Vegas race starts at like 10 o'clock local time, which is 1 in the morning East Coast.
Hopefully your ticket comes with a Red Bull IV so you can stay up for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm staying awake unless we're doing Red Bull and vodka.
Moving on to IndyCar, Michael Andretti has relinquished his ownership stake in Andretti Autosport.
So it's ownership. I thought it was just management, but it's actual ownership, huh?
Yes,
Wow.
some of it. I'm not quite sure the specifics. Like I would think he would still own some part of it. Daniel Taurus, the CEO of Gainbridge, will be taking over, who is
Major sponsor.
No one's really given any kind of reason or what the actual situation is specifically, but I wonder if it'll make F1 more open to a new team, since it appears that Michael murdered every F1 team owner's grandparents at some point.
The Euros really hate Andretti. I don't know. Did he insult socialism?
Man, they just don't want him anywhere near it.
I know. Maybe I hope it doesn't come out that he's got pancreatic cancer or something.
Oh, that'd be disappointing.
Yeah, we like the Andrettis. They're doing good stuff.
Hopefully he just wants to step back a little bit and not worry about a massive global company operating 15 different teams everywhere.
Yeah, he wants to do some fly fishing.
He had a good run.
I saw Mario at the last Phoenix IndyCar race. Mario was there. He was cool. We said hi to him. He waved back, said hey. He was nice.
Still zipping all over the place, too.
I know.
He was driving the two-seater for a long time there.
That was a good commercial. Did you sign the waiver? What? Yeah, that was good.
The big Alexander Rossi mystery is over, and he is going to Ed Carpenter Racing. And Ed will only be running the Indy 500 next year.
It's kind of a step down for Rossi to go to Ed Carpenter.
Arrow McLaren to Ed Carpenter.
It's a stepping stone for sports cars.
Pretty much. I don't know. Rossi's been kind of disappointing outside of his Indy win years ago.
He's kind of like Daniel Ricciardo.
Average.
You know, once after like 27, your reflexes just go downhill, and you know, unless you're a freak of nature like Fernando Alonso or Kimi Räikkönen, you just or AJ Foyt, he was still qualifying on the front row at Indy 500 when he was like 60.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and Andretti. I think both was at 76. Both of them were on the front row.
Yeah.
And then they got taken out in the first lap by a rookie.
Man, Andretti's had some rough luck there for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, still do, I guess. IndyCar is planning a Dallas street race around the Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas for next year. I'm not very excited about the race, what with Texas Motor Speedway being like 30 miles away from there, but maybe a street race like that will get more people to show up.
Well, they need more people at the Texas race. Maybe if Texas Speedway really wants to sell more tickets, they should have a Trump rally immediately following the race.
That's not a bad plan.
Yeah.
Get some people out there.
Yeah. Trump gets his demographic. They sell more tickets. Yeah, free Trump rally, right? Just stay in your seats. Ted Kravitz of Sky News is reporting that Valtteri Bottas is likely to get an Indy car for 2025.
I don't know where he got that from. It seems like the seats are pretty much full now.
Yeah.
After the Rossi move, so I have no idea where that's coming from.
I mean, he could probably fund a team with his F1 salary when he raced for Mercedes.
He'd probably get a good 3 or 4 years out of that.
Yeah, like F1 driver's salary is equal to an IndyCar team budget.
It is. It seems pretty close for some of them.
I know. Yeah, who's Hamilton going to get paid? Like $30 million for 1 year driving for Ferrari?
Plus all the ancillary bonuses and...
Oh, like you get a Ferrari.
Yeah, and whatever. And his companies and foundations getting a bunch of Ferrari things.
Yeah. How does Ferrari make that much money selling like 100 cars a year?
I don't know.
I mean, they're still hand making all their cars, right? They don't have anything that's just straight up production. They haven't outsourced it to China.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
How many cars are they selling a year?
We're talking in the low thousands, I think. Like, it's not a lot of cars.
Well, the F1 team does bring in some good revenue, at least, I would assume.
Oh, that's right. They have HP for a sponsor now.
Oh, yeah. Coming up next in IndyCar is more surprising news that's probably more interesting than the championship battle this year.
Definitely more interesting than the thermal race.
So was watching paint dry.
Yeah. Well, on to the other category. In rally car news, Ekstrom? Yes, I forget his name.
Marcus?
Yeah, it joins Carlos Sainz, the elder, both moving to the new Ford Dakar team.
Oh.
For next year.
What's Ford driving?
They're building, it's not the truck, it's a Raptor, but it's not the truck Raptor. It looks like the Audi Mini Cooper, that car-ish looking thing that they had. It looks like a crossover smushed together. And yeah, Ford's built one specifically for Dakar. And I do love Dakar.
Well, that's coming up in January.
Yeah.
I wish I could watch it live, but I guess it wouldn't be that interesting live, just the helicopter following a guy.
Yeah, they could go with a little longer. So like a 30-minute recap. They could do an hour recap with all the different classes.
And they cut a lot of classes way back to the end for like, a 30-second. Like I like some of the classic cars that do it and some of those other things, but...
That's cool. I like the big trucks the most.
More trucks, please.
Somebody besides the Polish...
Oh, yeah.
And the Danish. We haven't seen Russians for the past couple of years in Dakar.
Are they busy, or what are they? They're not doing anything?
Oh, they're busy oppressing neighbors.
Oh. Good for them.
But yeah, Dakar's good because, like, Christmas season's over. You're taking down the decorations. It's a little bit sad. But you know what? Dakar's coming up in a week, so hey, there's that.
You had a cool little 30-minute show every other night there.
I like it when Lee Diffie did it, though.
Oh. I wonder who's doing it. I wonder where it is this year. I guess we'll find out.
I think it's still in Saudi Arabia. That's actually a pretty decent location.
Good terrain.
Yeah, I would like to see the point A to point B race instead of driving in little squigglies around the peninsula.
Picking around random areas to drive at.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Doubling back. Oh, let's just loop it and do it again and call it the marathon stage.
Okay.
I mean, it did get pretty Europeized, but it's still a good race. I like it. And Saudi looks a fair amount like Africa.
It does.
I would pay money to see it go back to Africa. Like, actually go from Paris to Dakar again.
Yeah, that was better.
Yeah.
They still call it Dakar for some reason.
Paris to Dakar. Now it's just the Dakar. All right, that's it for this week. Next week we have NASCAR, and that's it, right?
Just NASCAR.
Still no Formula One.
Maybe some crazy IndyCar news again.
Yeah, whatever happened with the Ray Halls and the FBI breaking down their doors?
No, they're talking about it, so probably be a few months before anything's known about that.
Yeah, I want to hear what happened.
Yeah.
And, is anyone going to jail? That's what we want to hear.
Right to jail.
All right. Next weekend.